Hello and welcome again. It's Lisa Turner from Psychademy with how you can harness the energy of the 2012 shift, part 4. So last time we looked at chakras 1 to 4 and we looked at signs that they weren't fully open and activated at the level of your personality and from the perspective of energy. This time we're going to be looking at chakras 5 to 7. So, if you remember, we started with the base chakra, which is about security, then the sacral, sexuality, creativity, flexibility. The solar plexus is identity, will. And the fourth chakra is about the heart, it's love, compassion, and the higher emotions. The throat is about expression, communication, and information, and that's where we're going to start with today. And then after that, we have the third eye, insight, vision, wisdom, and then the crown, which is pure source level inspiration. So if you remember from last time, we talked about how you could have a chakra could be excessive, as in having too much. You're acting too much from this level. And depleted, as in you're not activating or actualizing enough behavior at this level. So we call this excessive and depleted. And you might think about it as energy flowing through that chakra, or you might think about it in terms of the kind of personality qualities. So somebody with an excessive fifth chakra, they will sort of demonstrate arrogance, self-righteousness, and they'll be dogmatic. They'll often talk too much, but it's kind of meaningless noise and jabbering. They'll often be polarity responders, so they'll always disagree. So if you say it's black, they'll say, yeah, but look, there's a little bit of white in it. If you say it's white, they'll say, yeah, but look at those black spots on it. They're often an extreme nonconformist just for its own sake. They're very into gossiping and they'll tell tales, and they can be quite manipulative and almost sort of subversive with this. So they use their knowledge to manipulate and control others. Whereas if the fifth chakra, the throat chakra, is depleted, they often have, these people have an inability to express themselves at all. They're often scared or timid. They have a tight throat, or often a very flat voice, sometimes that kind of very droning, monotone voice. That's a sign that they may have a depleted throat chakra. This person may be unable to speak out, have difficulty just communicating in general. Sometimes they just agree with anyone, which makes them very inconsistent, because if you're in front of them and presenting one option, they'll agree with you. And then as soon as someone else comes along presenting another idea or concept, they'll agree with them. Again, they can be manipulative, but this time it's from a sense of deviousness. So they'll use it from what's going behind the scenes. And they often experience conflict with their religious upbringing. The kinds of limiting beliefs that you get at the level of the fifth chakra are things like, nobody understands me, I can't trust anyone, I just don't understand, I have to make others understand, I have to get others to agree. So this is where you get somebody who's really on their soapbox, and they have this as a belief that they really need to get others to have the same beliefs as them. Another limiting belief is they're wrong always, or I'm wrong always. Then we move up to the sixth chakra. At the level of the sixth chakra, and this is the chakra that's opening now. So if you think about just going back for a moment to the fifth chakra, the fifth chakra is all about the throat and communication, and that's the time we're in right now. We experience the social media, the social networking, the internet, all our mobile communications, just spreading information everywhere. So this is where we're almost at the level of at the level of society, experiencing an almost excessive throat chakra. So if you think about the throat chakra right now, we've got a lot of people talking, but there's a lot of meaningless noise about. We've got a lot of polarity responders. There's a lot of being extremely nonconformist just for its own sake. Then there's a lot of gossiping and telling tales going on in social networking and in blogging and on the media. And there's a lot of kind of bitching happening. This is a sign that the fifth chakra is becoming excessive, and what happens then is something pops. So when it pops, we move to the sixth chakra. So the sixth chakra, if you have an excessive sixth chakra, or somebody else does, this is the third eye. So it's all about vision and insight and imagination. So this person will have an overactive imagination. They'll struggle to be able to tell the difference between what's real and what's imagined. They often overindulge in escapism or fantasy, movies, video games, and music. And this is what we're just starting to see now, with people escaping into knowledge and information and into fantasy. They'll have irrational fears and doubts and worries, and they'll often be quite delusional and even have schizophrenic tendencies. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean they are these, but they will exhibit these tendencies. And they'll often be unable to distinguish reality from their fantasies. Again, if it's excessive, they manipulate others by painting these amazing pictures, but they're completely unreal, and then others trust them. They can be quite religiously dogmatic, but inflexibly dictatorial. They experience paranoid fantasies, often nightmares and hallucinations, and they're often unable to respond appropriately to intuitive information. So this is where somebody won't be able to, they'll get a message where they think it's from their spirit guide, but actually it's just, it's maybe just they're remembering something that somebody told them, and they'll think, spirit told me to do this. So they'll kind of have this, in fact, we're even starting to see this now, where we're seeing people who are overly guided by their spirit guides without that grounding. Well, actually, is this really right for me? Again, they are people with an excessive sixth chakra. They're often inappropriately empathetic, so they're picking up other people's emotions, always assuming that they're directed at or even caused by them. So, for example, a woman who picks up her friend's grief assumes that she has to cure her friend, she has to make it right, or that she may sense her a friend who's angry and assume that it's about her. Oh, she's angry at me, when actually she's just angry. Happens to us all. So, moving up to the seventh chakra. If the seventh chakra is depleted or not functioning, not active enough, this person will be behaving almost like a robot or an automaton. They're maybe even catatonic. They're unable to think for themselves. They rely on others to guide them, but they're not lacking in intelligence, which is where it's quite interesting. They may be indecisive, or maybe they just, I'm not sure. Maybe they're not indecisive. They'll be indecisive, unable to filter useful information from not useful information. So they experience this kind of absolute wealth of information, but they're not able to use any discernment about which bits to use and which bits to disregard. They don't have any joy in their life, and they often have a sense of lacking of purpose and no meaning, no real meaning. There's nothing more to life than this. They can even be narrow-minded, have very rigid belief systems, and closed to new experience. And they're not able to learn from experience, and so they repeat the same mistakes over and over again. The limiting beliefs that are associated with the seventh chakra are that only the physical is real, that I'm mad. When they experience things that are beyond the physical reality, they then think they are mad, or they stop themselves experiencing things beyond the physical reality because they're worried that they'll go mad. So they'll think, I'll go mad if I do that. I can only make bad things happen. So they'll experience themselves having some kind of power over reality, but they only believe that they can only make bad things happen and not good things. They also might have a limiting belief that if it can't be proven scientific, then it's not real. And they'll also say things like, there's no such thing as God. I don't believe in God. Spirituality is a complete waste of time. There's no spirituality. There's nothing happens after you're dead. So now, the interaction of the chakras. Now, from this video and the previous one, you'll remember that there are certain aspects that happen at certain personality aspects that are exhibited at each level of the chakra. And when they're excessive or there's an imbalance, you can get an excessive chakra at one level, and that can result from or be caused by a depletion at another level, at one of the other levels. So, for example, if somebody doesn't have enough willpower to say no and then enforce their boundaries, which is about solar plexus, then they may be overly giving and overly nurturing at the level of heart. So they then are too open in their heart because they don't have good boundaries at the level of the solar plexus. For example, they're all linked. Now, when all of the chakras are opening and functioning fully, that's when the crown, and I believe the third eye, will open. I believe that they're all linked in this way. The next to open at this time in society, this is what I see, we're right on the cusp of the third eye opening. This is why we're experiencing this explosion in in fascination with all things psychic, with clairvoyance and clairaudience and clairsentience, which is actually, they're all of those other psychic abilities are linked to all the chakras, but we see this real fascination with all things psychic and spiritual right now. Then when the third eye is open, the crown will open automatically, and it's going to happen. It's happening right now. This is what I'm witnessing. So if you're ready to discover how you can get ready and harness the energy of the 2012 shift, go to www.2012energyshift.com/course. Bye for now.